All right, everybody, it is time. It is the GSTL semifinals. This is going to be Prime versus TSL. My name is Doan. With me is Wolf.
Hey,
How are you doing today, Wolf?
I'm great. I mean, this is really exciting. This is basically down to the wire. We've been doing this team league for months now.
Yeah.
And it's finally getting down to the wire. As I said, there's a ton of fans here today. It's extremely packed and crowded. We've got fans of both teams. We've got people wearing their Prime shirts that they bought from that Prime Zang or Prime Tong.
Yep.
However you pronounce that. And obviously, there's a ton of Prime fans here. And TSL, I think, are the favorites to win this. But here's Prime coming down.
Yep, there is Prime coming out.
Their new hoodies.
Bon Jovi. And you know, I didn't know this, but apparently the coaches pick the songs, I guess? So Gerard actually is a Bon Jovi fan, apparently.
Well, maybe his team actually told him to pick that.
Could be.
By the looks of it, I think that
Marine King.
I think that shirt that Gerard is wearing is also on sale on that website.
Marine King biting that other guy like a vampire? I think he might be. Uh-oh. Can TSL defeat the undead?
I like their new hoodies, man.
Those are really cool.
I joked at first that they were like Venus flytrap hoodies because they have little hoods like at the front. It looks like it can just close over the person's head. But I think it looks really cool. Like girl's trying to hide. You can't hide. You're sitting in the front row.
She's just devastated because she didn't get the Manor banner. That's all it is. I'd be that sad too. Those are cool hoodies, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. I like them.
It'd be cool if you could like hit a button and the front and back would close up and make like a helmet that had like little eye holes and everything.
It's like a Space Marine helmet.
Yeah,
you can smoke cigarettes in it and stuff.
Yep, it's like they pops open and Marine King's like smoking a cigarette. He's like, it's about time. Well, let's find out a little bit more about Prime. Here is some more info. Their aces are Boong Boong and Hongen. Interesting, considering Marine King did get that big win for him last week. And you can see their record here. Not really the best. I mean, these guys kind of scraped their way into this.
They were able to get in because another team failed, actually. They weren't supposed to make it in, but of course, FOU lost, and for that reason, Prime was able to get in. You can see the record versus certain teams, you know, for example, versus TSL, they played each other already. They lost 4-1, and so they're going to be playing against each other. Again, they were able to beat StarTale, which no one really expected.
They pretty much crushed StarTale. I mean, Creator Prime and Anyang Prime came out and both won a couple of games apiece. There's a whole team right there.
Yeah, you can see their lineup is pretty strong. Look at Check, man. He looks really scary there in the center.
He's like Giganto Check. I don't know. He's like been eating a lot of
He's like tilted his head upwards like he's really mad. He's just trying to contain himself.
It's like someone spent 1 green mana and cast a giant growth on Check. +3/+3 now. He's pretty large.
There he is.
Wow, he is that big.
Look at Hongen, man. Hongen likes to wear that orange shirt.
I guess so.
He's like, I'm not going to wear the cool shirts that the rest of my team has. I'm going to wear my little Hongen shirt.
It's his life, Wolf. It's now or never.
Yeah, it's now or never. There's
He's not
Hannibal.
going to live forever.
And here is TSL.
I don't know.
The clear favorites here.
Yeah. These guys are undefeated in the team league. If anyone's going to grab that trophy, chances are it's going to be them. They have been phenomenal. They have Clyde Burns, of course.
Yeah, man.
TSL Clyde Burns Belmont, the best Terran player. Possibly.
Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Well,
Slayer of the Undead.
TSL is a team that's obviously very close-knit. It's a smaller team. You can see Polt has joined TSL recently. He won't be able to play, though, because he's not allowed to be on the roster just yet.
Yep.
But even so, TSL, very close-knit team. It's growing all the time. It's changing all the time. But there's still a very clear team heart that you can see. You can see some of these players have been here for a long time, like Clyde, for example, has been on the team forever.
Well, these guys have the cohesiveness that you really need to win team leagues. I mean, we talked about it before. Coach Lee, once told me that they practice 80% for the team league. Oh, a hug from Killer as well.
He is not actually a killer. He's a nice guy.
He's just a big, nice guy. But you know what? Killer is also the final toss.
Yeah.
He's final toss in Code S, man. He's the last one there, so.
The last one, the only one to make it through, and to be honest, I didn't think he would.
Yeah, he actually had to beat his new teammate Pulp to do it, too.
Yeah, he's the hope of Protoss.
That's right. Final toss. And there he is. It looks like he's about to grab Clyde. Look out, Clyde! Revival's gonna shoot him. He's like, I'm going to protect Clyde at all costs.
He's like, Clyde, I don't think you belong in our top 3 players. He was like grabbing him by the neck. He's about to yank him off.
He's about to just like toss him off the screen.
Well, look at that. 5 wins, defeating every team they've played against. They're first in their division, so they actually were able to skip a match to get here.
Yep.
Look at that. 4-1, 4-2, 4-1. The closest match they ever had was against F.United.
that was a pretty exciting match, too. F.United actually surprised a lot of people this season. But TSL came out triumphant. Oh, Clyde got bumped over. He used to be right in the middle, and now they moved him over. Oh, no, Clyde is in the middle. Never mind. Killer is bumped off the side a little bit there.
You can see the two pros there in the middle.
Yeah.
Clyde, I mean, excuse me, not Clyde. Killer and JYP.
We just can't stop talking about Clyde.
They're next to Clyde. No, wait, Clyde is just, I'm just drawn to Clyde.
Clyde is actually like trying to control our minds from across the room right now. I'm pretty sure I can feel his presence in the studio today.
Well, here are Gerard and Lee, the two coaches of these teams.
Yeah.
The rules have been explained. These guys know each other. They're close friends.
Oh, isn't that an epic shot of Coach Lee there?
I know, that is
Looks
epic,
like a visionary, doesn't he?
He actually is a visionary.
He is. He's
one of the best coaches in StarCraft 2, if not the best coach.
Easily one of the nicest people I've met in Korea.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Really, really friendly.
Yep.
He's a well-rounded person. Yes, man.
Yeah, for sure. So check it out. Here's our bracket so far. We did see Prime take down StarTale in a bit of an upset, but today they have to play TSL. On the other side of things, MVP did defeat IM. Tails taking down I'm MVP and I'm Nesty in a row. That was absolutely crazy. They're going to go on to face NS Hoso in their semifinal match. That's going to be tomorrow.
So things are really heating up, man.
Dude, the team league is so cool. I absolutely love
awesome.
the team league. It's tragic that we're not going to get to see it.
And if you guys are just tuning in, if you haven't watched the team league yet, really, you're just kind of like getting into it now, get the bots and actually watch the games of how these guys got here. Go back and watch the group stages. Watch teams like you won't see anymore in the team league, like FXOpen and F.United.
Yep.
And FOU, those teams, FOU actually is no longer going to exist as a team.
All the teams that start with F, it's just like bad luck for the team.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, if your team starts with F, don't even bother coming. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Look, the studio's a little bit foggy today, but it's okay. We can still see okay. Yep. Fog Machines, been working some overtime. He's like, got to pull an extra shift or something like that. Make sure the studio looks nice and epic. But we have got some cool stuff today. Oh, yeah, check out the Twitter stuff there, too. You can follow GOMTV on Twitter. I'm like, poking. I'm like, does this bug you? Does this bug you, graphic? It's okay. Also, check out GOMTV.net, m.gomtv.net, if you will. And you can also follow Wolf at FXOWolf, and you can follow me at GosuDoa on Twitter. And you know what? I think we should try to get Clyde Burns trending tonight.
Yeah, actually, we should.
Hashtag that.
Yeah, someone actually tweeted me, Gary Oak Robotron tweeted me, he suggested that we get Clyde Burns trending. And I think if Clyde comes out, I mean, we've got to get Clyde out here.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I think Clyde's got to have to play today, so we're going to have to get Clyde Burns trending on Twitter.
If you hashtag Clyde Burns enough times, he'll play.
Can you guys imagine
we'll say that.
how many people would get interested in StarCraft if they saw something Clyde Burns on the corner?
Yeah.
Like, well, I wonder what that is.
You have to click on that. You see that and you're like, what the heck? And they have to click on this. Like, what's this GSL thing? And then they watch it and they're like, this is the best form of entertainment I've ever seen.
And they like look at the Clyde Burns and they're like, these are the best sideburns I've ever seen.
That's true. It's like two of the best things I've ever seen.
They connect in the middle, like under his chin. He's actually got like the helmet Clyde Burns.
He's going to be like that guy in Game of Thrones that like can tie him in a knot and he has like a braid going down there.
Yeah, man.
You know what that character's name is?
I can't remember.
It's Roderick Castle. That's what it is.
Oh.
Little Game of Thrones trivia for you there.
I didn't
Whatever. But anyway, they're cool sideburns. That's kind of what we're going for here.
I know what you're talking about, though. I know that guy.
That's good. But his aren't really like... Well, no, they're like the European Clyde Burns, sort of, They're what Clyde Burns
They're inferior
Burns
to Clyde Burns, yeah. Clyde will not. I don't think Clyde will allow his Clyde Burns to go that far.
No, well, Clyde's are much more styled, whereas Roderick Castle's are much more kind of like rustic and sort of.
To give you guys some trivia about Clyde, I heard he's actually a really good chef. I've heard that anyone who goes to the TSL house has had Clyde cook for them.
Really?
This is actually a true story. I'm not making this up.
What does he cook? Like, do you know what he cooks?
Well, he cooks bulgogi really well. That's one thing I've heard. I've heard some other things. I can't think of anything offhand, but I've heard he's actually a really good cook.
We should
just some more Clyde trivia for you guys.
We should go sometime.
Yeah, we should.
We'll do that.
I would love to have Clyde cook for me.
Let's go do that.
He might have to have 2 separate hairnets for each of his Clyde Burns.
Maybe he's got like kind of hanging. That's okay.
But
maybe he makes a special hamburger called a Clyde burger.
Well, first up, guys, when we talk about our starting players, we're gonna have Terius Prime, aka Bumblebee Prime. He changed his ID.
Oh, another ID change.
And he's gonna be playing against a Code A-Star, JYP, and here he is now. Here is Terius, a.k.a. Bumblebee. This guy used to be on FOU. You guys probably recognize the name Terius FOU.
Yep.
Played in some of the open seasons.
He is a Zerg player. He's won the only game he's played in the GSTL so far, so perfect record. Way to go, Bumblebee.
Yeah. Not too bad. 2 wins, 2 losses overall. Not too bad.
No, not at all.
That's half of the wins.
One of the most underrated Transformers. And he can talk. Don't believe what you see in the movie. Bumblebee can talk. So that just bugged me. You know, that was like one of the worst things about that movie is that they made it that Bumblebee can't talk. It's like he only talks with radio voices. It's like, no, that's not how it is at all.
I was never really much of a Transformers fan, so I can't sympathize with you.
All right. Well, all you guys out there that's seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And his opponent, there he is.
JYP.
He's like, oh, don't look at me when I'm drinking. Wonderful, delicious Pepsi product.
JYP is a really, really good Protoss. Very underrated by many fans.
Yeah.
And you know, he didn't advance to the round of 4 in Code A because he was defeated by actually my teammate FXOpen. But
yeah, his round of 8 games were a little bit disappointing. But this guy is really
This guy is really good, and I think
me.
he may actually be able to make it through the up and downs this season. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, if I recall, he made it very close to making it through last season.
Yeah, I mean, look at his. You can see he
run.
made it to the round of 8 both times.
Yeah,
advanced beyond Purgatory of Code A, but then fell out. And this guy's a really, really good player. And in fact, I'm a little bit surprised TSL is starting with him because he's such a strong player. I think he would be a good choice to have for later.
You know, TSL has a really strong lineup right now. They're not a big team, but most of their members are people where you're like, oh, you know what? They're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So
and none of them actually have
choices.
that many individual results, but they all do extremely well in the team league because they practice specific builds, and you can really see the evidence of Lee's coaching and the decisions that are made on certain maps.
And our first map of the day is going to be Bellshear Beach. Look at that spam there from JYP.
He's getting ready.
Spanner mid up.
Cracking his knuckles.
Finger joints getting them all limbered up. The map is loading. We're going to get things rolling here. GSTL semifinals. Bumblebee versus JYP. Who's going to get the first win for their team? We're going to find out very soon. Talking slowly because the map is loading slowly. And it is nearly loaded. And there we go. Game time soon. Yes. Stop laughing. Laughing for real. On the GSTL.
All right, we actually we made the wrong map.
It's okay.
Apparently, so.
Well, you know, there's a couple
I noticed that when I joined the game, the map was listed as just a long string of numbers, and I was like, maybe it's a bug on my computer, maybe this is the wrong map. It didn't say Bellshear Beach at all.
Oh, it's actually going to be
supposed to be Bellshear Beach.
dual
it's supposed
site.
to be dual site. So
all right, so never mind. Forget Bellshear Beach. We're going to play on dual site.
Well, I find it strange that nobody noticed that it was the wrong map until the game was already loaded up. It was like, oh, wait a minute.
I don't know. Don't trust what you see on the screen. Don't trust it.
Pay no attention to the man behind the production team.
Well, that is JYP there. You can trust that part of what you see.
Yeah, you can trust that.
That's not someone like masquerading as JYP. That's not a JYP Halloween costume. You know, we're getting kind of close to October.
Yeah.
Might see some pro gamer Halloween costumes. Who would you go for as Halloween if you could dress up like any pro gamer?
Nada.
Nada?
Yeah.
I'm thinking who I would go as. I don't know.
All right, we're really jumping into the game now. It's finally happening. The map is dual site. Bumblebee versus JYP here at the GSTL playoffs.
I think I'd go as bit by bit Prime.
Oh yeah?
I think so.
That's pretty scary.
It is. On the right side of the map, we have our Zerg player from the Team Prime. He is Bumblebee. I don't think you guys heard. There he is. Bumblebee. The fearsome Bumblebee.
Bumblebee roll out.
Autobots roll out. Freedom is the right of every sentient being. There he is. Almost looks like it said 007 on his shirt there. And on the left side of the map, we have our Blue Protoss player from the Team TSL. It is
TSL JYP.
Stands for his initials. Yep. There he is. Wearing those TSL coats again. It's getting a little bit chilly here. It's starting to cool down a bit.
Yeah. SCV for life.
That's right.
TSL fighting.
Most versatile gather in the game, the SCV.
It's a biological and mechanical unit.
That's right. It can repair things, it can build things, it can fight other workers.
Well, there are no SCVs in this game. There's only probes and drones, and these probes and drones are fighting
Yes, indeed.
And of course, the spawning pool was made.
Yep.
For Bumblebee, I keep wanting to call him Terius in his main because that probe denied him. And we may have... Yep, he's going to make Forge before Nexus. Going to play it a little bit safer because he knows that the pool has been made. It's a two-player map.
Bumblebee Prime doesn't even really make sense in the whole Transformers mythos as well. He wasn't a Prime.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just Bumblebee. I don't know. We're going to see like Wheeljack Prime soon and...
Well, maybe he wants.
Prime.
Maybe he wants to be the new Optimus Prime. Now, something you guys will notice is that there are 2 pylons made before the Nexus.
Yeah. Nope. There goes the hatchery.
That indicates that JYP wanted to get extra probes out, of course.
And the Overlord's going to do some scouting there, sailing serenely over the waterfall.
The Lings are spotted.
Yep.
He actually made 6 Zerglings instead of the usual 4.
All right. 2 to chase down the probe, and then 2 to see if they can get in the base and maybe do a little scouting, get a couple probe snipes, maybe if they're really lucky.
And
but most likely
really
they're just going to see the front.
Nice wall off by JYP.
Yeah.
Cannon finishes. The Lings cannot attack the Nexus. There's actually no location the Lings can really hit, except this new cannon that was made might be able to be targeted. Oh! Probe staying alive, but he does hit this pylon over here at the natural. You guys will get a shot of it in a second.
I hear the sound of Zerglings hitting a pylon. There they are. And they may actually get it too. I think they will. They do get it.
And that actually will unpower this cannon.
Oh wow, it's coming close. Yeah, luckily he did have another one there. They had to cancel the one he was making though.
Really nice placement on that initial cannon though.
Yeah,
we'll make it so you can protect these probes for the most part. Cybernetic core going down now as well. The Zealot's being chronoed out to help deal with this Zergling infestation that he's dealing with.
Yeah, well, those can be kind of annoying.
Absolutely.
You get the Zergling traps, the Zergling hotels you put down your bases. Now, oh, look at that. The Zerglings are just out of range of that cannon, and they can actually hit that cybernetic core as much as they want to, but they decide to do some scouting instead.
Yeah, they want to get out of there.
Yeah, well,
might as well preserve them.
Ooh, third base taken in a really interesting spot for Bumblebee. You don't see that very often by the way.
Yeah, normally you see it in the top location.
Yeah, and you saw the probe just now. Scout for it, and he's going to go over and check the gold. He's like, well, did he take fast gold? Because this is a little bit weird.
This expansion that he's taking at the bottom right makes it very difficult to defend because it's far away. The creep's not going to be in that direction in most cases. It's really difficult to defend timing attacks there, so it's going to be the last place that JYP is going to expect to check. But he is sending a Zealot in that location, and he is going to find it.
Yep. So this may come back to haunt Bumblebee.
And he does see it. Now the question is, what is going to be the follow-up for JYP? Does he want to try to attack this base with a gateway timing attack, or is he just going to use this to tech up and just skimp on defenses because he knows his opponent can't be aggressive?
Yeah.
Zergling speed just now being started quite late. And this Queen actually is off creep. The Zealot could actually go to work on her, and it's exactly what he's going to do.
I guess so. And the Queen's not really attacking to defend herself down by
this Queen is actually going to be taken out.
By the third base of Bumblebee. Between the third base and the main.
Oh, the Queen does get taken out by that Zealot.
He lost the Queen. There's the remnants. There's the Zealot. Little Queen things kind of twitching there. Zealot will pay for it though. But yeah,
an extremely good trade.
That's expensive, man. To lose a Queen that early in the game, that's not something you want to do.
More important than losing the Queen is losing all the larvae from the larva injects.
Exactly. It's very true.
A lot of Zerglings actually made here by Bumblebee. I'm not sure why. I mean, he knows there's cannons here. He doesn't have Zergling speed yet. He's trying to put on some pressure with these Zerglings, but there's nothing really he can do. They're slow. In fact, if he's not careful, he could get trapped here. 3 more gateways going up here for JYP as well.
Yep.
He's taken all 4 gases, and these Zerglings are going to attack an assimilator, but they have to be very careful. Like I said, they don't have speed yet. It's about to finish, but
yeah,
always have to be extremely careful with slow Zerglings against a good Protoss player.
I'm sure too Bumblebee would be happy to trade a few Zerglings to get those sentries to waste some energy too. If he feels like he's going to be under some pressure soon, that's could be what he's saying. But you're right, he has to be careful not to lose all of them. And when they're slow, it can be kind of difficult with that.
And another cannon actually going down for JYP. He's a little bit concerned about the possibility of a timing attack now.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how many Zerglings are on the map. He knows there's enough to where it's very risky for him to move out and try to take the towers. So he's a little bit in the dark right now, so he is making that extra cannon. He's bringing a probe with his army, but probe gets surrounded. Oh. Nice move by Bumblebee. Always go for the probe.
Yeah.
You see that. And he's going to do it again. catching the probe. Oh, the probe barely escaped this time. He has to keep that probe alive so he can make this timing attack work.
Yeah, without the probe, you can't build pylons. Oh, Warp Prism on the way from JYP. Very cool.
Okay, so I've had about enough of you killing that probe. And look at this. Nice. Leaves one sentry at home to defend.
Yeah.
Now the pylon is going down the middle of the map. But I'm starting to think Bumblebee's going to have enough. He's already got roaches out. He's going to attack this location.
Oh, he's going to be able to deny that pylon right away, too. It looks like those roaches are going to be able to kill so fast.
He does have to cancel it.
Yeah. Loses a probe.
And now he actually could lose a sentry or two.
Yeah, really nice defense there by Bumblebee. Kind of engaging in the middle of the map, not waiting for the Protoss to come to him.
Right. Yeah, and things are starting to look really good for Bumblebee because he's just repeatedly denied this pressure, and now he's got a third base up for essentially free.
Yeah.
He's droning up right now. He's got control of the watchtowers. Now, will he see the sentry drop that's coming to the third base? That is the question.
You know, this is really cool. We see so many Zerg players kind of just sitting back at their base, waiting to defend, but Bumblebee's like, no, I'm just going to go in the middle of the map and just engage you right there. And that Warp Prism wants to drop, but there's a lot of roaches there to respond. They're all ready for that. Will he find a good place for it?
Hydralisk then going up. And he's going to try to make these sentries work. We're going to see just how well they will.
He's not really making any effort to sort of hide that Warp Prism, is he? Oh, nice.
Oh, catching some units in the middle of the map, and here's the sentry drop. Not really very effective.
Not really. Kind of makes the Queen uncomfortable, kind of pressing her against some minerals for a little bit. She's like, oh, that pokes a little bit. But other than that,
he actually did mess up the mining a little bit as well, but
yeah,
not too significant.
Oh, Warp Prism speed on the way now for JYP. Very cool.
Wants to get that Warp Prism speed out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see some more Warp Prism action. I think.
Well, if he's bothering to get the upgrade, I would think, yeah.
He's got to be very careful of that one Warp Prism, though. He doesn't want to waste any time making more. He wants to be able to make Colossi as much as possible.
Now we saw a Spire on the way as well from Bumblebee. You know, he does see the robotics units, wants to make sure that he's prepared for the eventual Colossi, and there is one just popping out now for JYP. There's a Spire.
Getting the Spire is such a multi-purpose tech structure. It's really expensive, but you can make mutas, you can make corruptors, and when your opponent is going robotics tech, you really want to have one or both of actually those units in the situation. Sure. Now this is the drop that could actually work. We're going to find out how well. And does he do it again? Does not actually trap as well as he could have, and many of the drones may escape. He's not actually pulling the drones properly, so they might not.
Yeah, the Zealot's not really able to do much of anything either there.
Yeah, not the best drop there. Could have been better. But he's going to drop over here on the other location. Again, though, the roaches are prepared.
Those are a little bit better force fields, but the roaches can still sneak around the outside there.
He's denying a lot of mining with these force fields, though.
He is.
And he hasn't lost anything, really. He lost 4 Zealots in total, but he did kill some drones with that. In total, he's been able to kill 3 drones.
Wow.
Not a lot.
Whoa.
But he's denied a lot of mining.
Yeah.
He's been able to keep the Zerg in his base as he takes a third.
Yeah, I mean, that is, I mean, Warp Prism Harass is something that's still relatively kind of quote-unquote new.
Yeah.
In the GSL, it's new to Korea. There's a lot of players trying a lot of different things. So it's going to be interesting to see how players kind of experiment with this, you know, what they decide to do. And, you know, denying mining like that works okay. It's not too bad, really.
Going to take the watchtower here. Now, remember, despite the fact that his opponent has a much... Roach doing battle with the cannon and a probe. Despite the fact that Bumblebee has a much better supply right now, it's actually 192 to 123. The army of JYP is really scary right now.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Up here. Nice force fields, but there's so many corruptors out.
Yeah, those Colossi are falling very quickly. The first one goes down, and JYP, another Colossi coming from the side that might get sniped by roaches. Looks like he's doing enough damage, though.
He does push him back, but he needs to get out of there with that army. He doesn't want to engage again as soon as those force fields fall. He's not going to be able to engage the way he wants to.
A little bit too close. In the meantime, we have some more Prism Harass going on, trying to keep Bumblebee on his toes, or on his little bee
but
legs.
These corruptors are chasing the Prism.
Good thing it's fast.
Meanwhile, nice catching some roaches in the middle of the map while the corruptors are away.
Did that Warp Prism escape? I didn't see it.
It did escape.
Like it did. Okay, they're so fast now with that upgrade.
In fact, he's going to harass again, and his Colossus does escape for now.
Oh, look at that. Zealot's going in there to try to kill some queens possibly, but is it going to be enough?
No, not with those. Not with those spines there. Not going to happen.
Especially with the transfuser.
Oh, Guardian Shield goes up and some force fields, but the Colossus is in trouble. Colossus goes down immediately, but now if he can continue to force field. He can pick off a lot of these Corruptors.
Oh,
Blink
look at
is
that.
almost done, but not quite. Beautiful force field trapping those Roaches. Those Roaches have no chance to escape, no burrow. Right now, the upgrades are +1 missile weapons for our TSL player, and of course, 1/1 upgrades for JYP. And he actually made a ton more Zealots here and has cleaned up the spine, doing a little bit more damage to these drones.
Yeah, this Warp Prism harasses. I mean, once Protoss players really learn how to do it, I think it's going to really make a big difference.
Here's
in
the
this
thing,
matchup.
he's actually using it like you would use Mutas in ZVT, where you're not actually killing it that much, but you're actually keeping the Zerg off your back.
Yeah, you're keeping them occupied.
And that is really, really awesome what we're seeing with this Warp Prism. A Dark Shrine is going down now,
That's
as well,
help
so you can
quite a
do
bit
a lot
too.
more damage with that Warp Prism.
Oh,
And Immortal might get caught.
That looks like the Immortal's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's going to be quite immortal here.
Yep. He is never going to die. Oh, force fields again.
I'm not sure if this is the best place for Bumblebee to engage. He will get the Colossus, but he's going to lose so much in exchange.
Well, if you notice here, JYP has kind of stopped making Colossi at this point.
Yeah, he's
And
completely
so-
switched over into Immortal.
Yeah, so now
Stalker.
Bumblebee just has too many Corruptors out on the
He
map.
has too many Corruptors, and he's making it Immortals off of 2 Robos. Immortals
Yep.
have new range upgrade. So he's bought a lot of time. He's made a nice switch here. The Hive, though, is finishing
Yeah.
up, and that's going to be the scary moment where all these Corruptors suddenly are no longer useless when they become Broodlords.
Well, those once that Dark Shrine finishes, I've got a feeling that DT plus Zealot harass that these Warp Prisms are going to do is suddenly going to become a lot more effective. We've seen a lot of Zerg players struggle to deal with that.
The Prism
Here
is
we
spawned.
go.
Here come the Corruptors.
Is he going to get time to warp things in? Nope.
Oh, no, and he's going to lose the Prism.
Ah!
Oh, 15 hit points left. Can the Queen stop him?
Those
No.
things are so fast, man.
He's even corrupted that Warp Prism.
Wow.
He actually may warp in some DTs here, but will the Queen stop him?
He's got to be
Oh!
careful. And
5 hit points left on that Warp Prism that
Wow.
still is corrupted.
that's patch 1.4 in effect right there. And look at this, the gold base under fire. Nothing's going to save that.
And
But
meanwhile, some DTs going up into the north,
yeah,
and there is an Overseer there, but no units.
Queen, he's sending one into the main as well.
There's a Spore on the way there, but it's not going to finish in time.
Looks like the DTs are just going to go after the Queens too. If you can kind of limit the amount of larvae that are out there, that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, he does kill the Queen. The Spore will finish, though, but he's continuing to hide.
Queen's toupee popped off. You ever notice that when you kill a queen,
Yeah.
top of their head, it's the toupee.
It's
They're
a
actually-
toupee, a Queen's wear toupee,
pops
it's
off,
the truth. Now, guys, right now, we've actually just seen awesome play. I can't even, I'm just going to go into detail about it after this game, no matter who wins.
I'm going to let you talk. I'm just going to...
Bumblebee is stuck on 3 bases. He's been stuck on 3 bases forever, and 3 base versus 3 base is not where you want to be as a Zerg player here.
No.
And he's always been ahead in supply, but he's never been able to engage the way he wants to just because JYP has been doing such a smart job with this.
Well, if you remember the problem that JYP had early on where he kept losing his probe, couldn't warp in a forward pylon, you know what? You don't need that forward pylon if
you have a Warp
Prism.
Prism, exactly.
Exactly right. So this game is really, really good. I mean, this is a great example of new school ZVP. I think.
Look at this, engaging with most of his army in a favorable position while the Stalkers go to harass the main, but these Broodlords have not been spotted, and there they go! And the Roach counterattack is quite strong, but DTs are defending. He has no answer for the DTs.
Yeah, so he should be okay at that third with the DTs there, but the question is, are there enough Stalkers to handle the Broodlords?
There just might be. He might have to back up here, yeah.
I think he will,
Sniping the hatchery would have been a bad idea. He's leaving his Immortals behind, though. He's going to be very careful, and that Nexus goes down.
Nexus. Some units warped in, but not close enough to engage the Roaches.
This
Big
is a
mistake
really
by
close
JYP.
game.
Yeah.
And he will clean up these Roaches with his retreating forces. But things are still looking pretty good for Bumblebee.
Yeah, I really wonder what JYP is going to use as an answer to those Broodlords. That's kind of the big question right now.
Well, this Warp Prism harass. Oh, no!
Oh, there's a Spore hidden behind the Greater Spire.
Oh, and the Prism finally dies.
Oh, man.
The one Prism he made.
Yeah.
It did so much damage.
I did not even notice that Spore being there.
Neither did that Warp Prism, man.
Guess
All right, here we
not.
go. This is a very important engagement. There's so many Broodlords. Can he close the distance?
Here we go. Stalker's going to work on everything. Overlord's distracting. Stalker's shots tries to blink ahead to go after the Broodlords.
It's going to be close. I think he has enough. I think he does, man.
I think he might barely have enough. Blinking ahead to take out more Broodlords. Colossi trying to handle the Broodlings from behind.
The drones coming off the line. The Colossi going to work on those drones while the Broodlords are targeted Transfuse is
Wow.
gone, but it's not enough, and I think JYP has done it.
I think he's got barely enough to take this game. Certainly looks like it. JYP just showing us how it's done. PBZ.
Showing us some new Warp Prism tactics.
Yeah. And we talked about this guy being really good, and he proved it for us. This guy's awesome.
And yeah, he really is, man. And you know, Bumblebee showed some awesome play as well.
Oh, he did, yeah.
GG.
Dance time.
All right, I can't wait to talk to you guys about how I feel about this game.
All right, besides the fact that it was completely awesome, let's hear a little bit more technical analysis of that from you.
All right, so what we had in that game, this is something that processors are starting to figure out slowly, but I think JYP's got it down. JYP knows, look at him getting those high fives, well deserved. He knows that all Protost's harassment options leave you vulnerable to counterattacks. If you go for Dark Templar, it's a huge investment, for example. If you go for Zealot drops, it's a huge investment, and you're very vulnerable. We noticed in that game, 193 supply to 120 for a lot of that game.
Yeah.
He was down, but he
yeah,
always made it so the Roaches could not attack. The Roaches were always occupied. That's how he made use of that Warp Prism. He made it so the main army was always having to go back home, and not just part of it, he had to send a lot back to deal with that. The Sentry harass was beautiful. He killed very few drones, but the harassment just kept the Zerg player occupied always, and because of that, he was able to take a third base with very few static defenses. He had about 2 cannons there. Then he was able to power up. He made a beautiful Immortal switch. He made the second Robo. He was like, I noticed you overmade Corruptors, so I'm just going to make Immortals and Stalkers, and that's it. I've still got my Sentries alive from earlier. I'm going to use those to control the engagements. He always engaged in the perfect spot where I'm like, oh, if those Roaches attack his army, he's going to die, but he like force shields in the perfect way, and the Corruptors come in and snipe the Colossus, and he actually just ignores the Corruptors. He just goes for the Roaches.
Matter. He's like the Colossi were just there to bait Bumblebee into making too much of something he didn't really need.
Exactly, and Bumblebee reacted to what he had seen really well, but it was all just a trick, man. It was a web of lies.
It was a trap. That's right. Set by JYP and Bumblebee, like a little insect flew right into it.
Yeah,
Got
man.
stuck. And that's the end of the game for him. So this is great. I mean, this is the type of innovation that I've been looking for from Protoss players for a long time. Yeah.
Just one. He only made one. He never lost it. He controlled it. He got speed. He was always moving around the map with it. Even if he got to a base and he was like, well, I can't do it. Didn't matter. All right, we're going to have a quick little interview.
TSL 팀을 만나보기 위해 저는 지금
Their
더가웃에 나와
coaches.
있는데요. 먼저 지난주 정말 강팀 스타테일을 꺾고 플레이오프에 진출한 프라임의 박예식 감독 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 감독님 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 지난주에 스타테일 팀을 꺾고서 기뻐하던 그 모습이 아직도 생생하게 기억이 납니다. 일주일 동안 어떻게 지내셨나요?
저희 그날에 승리하고 이제 아직 너무 그 산이 많기 때문에
네네.
정말 모두 더 열심히 오늘까지 정말 최선을 다해서 지금 연습만 매진했습니다.
네, 지난주 스타테일 팀을 맞아서 장현우와 또 문학선이라는 신예 선수를 기용을 해서 또 승리를 이끌었어요. 네, 감독님이 두 선수 기용 이유에 대해서 가장 열심히 한 선수를 기용을 했다, 뭐 이런 말씀을 해주셨는데 그 말에 영향이 어느 정도 팀 분위기에 영향을 끼쳤을 것 같은데 어땠나요?
네, 저희 팀 선수들 모두 다 열심히 하지만 그 선수들 중에 이제 그 중에서도 이제 실력이 느는 거는 사람마다 다 틀리기 때문에 가장 가능성 있고 가장 빨리 지금 잘할 수 있는 선수들을 이제 기용을 해서 이번 GSTL을 준비하려고 하고 있습니다. 네,
사실 TSL 팀 만만치 않은 상대입니다. 페어트레이스 5전 전승에 또 상대 전성만 보면 2대0으로 K9 팀이 좀 살짝 밀리고 있는 상황이긴 한데요. 새로운 전략을 준비하셨을 것 같습니다. TSL 팀을 맞아서 어떤 데뷔를 하셨는지 궁금합니다.
저희 팀 선수 중에 이게 저그 선수들이 좀 아직 알려지지 않은 저그 선수들이 많이 있는데 그 선수들이 이제 굉장히 열심히 해왔기 때문에 이번 GSTL에서 숨은 좀 그 역할을 해주지 않을까 그렇게 많이 준비를 했습니다. 네,
저그 선수들 눈여겨봐야 될 것 같습니다. 마지막으로 TSL 팀의 이민재 감독에게 한 말씀 해주시죠.
That well known yet, but we've hidden some of our best Zerg players, so that'll be our hidden card for today's match.
저희 팀 선수들 모두 정말 최선을 다해서 열심히.
Not anymore. He just gave away the secret.
It's not a secret anymore, is it?
저희가 꼭 이겨서 결승에 진출하도록 하겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 말씀 감사합니다. 네.
We're gonna try to win today so we can get into the finals
저는 TSL
and get the win, the trophy, get the money. Right. That trophy is gonna be filled with Skittles or some other candy.
I don't know if they're gonna put Skittles in that trophy, man.
Maybe, I don't know.
So I was like, well, if I were a coach, that's what we
이윤정
do.
안녕하세요.
Maybe.
안녕하세요.
네, 페넌트 레이스
now we're gonna do an
정말
interview with
오랜만에 뵙는 것
TSL's
같습니다.
Coach Lee.
잘 지내셨나요?
네, 잘 지냈습니다.
네, 먼저 축하를 드린다는 말씀 먼저 해야 될 것 같습니다. 지난주에 또 등남하셨다는 소리를 제가 들었어요.
네.
등남의 또 플레이오프 직행이 아주 겹경사입니다.
개인적으로 이렇게 등남 두 번째 아들을
네네.
등남하게 됐고 너무 기분이 좋고요. 그리고 뭐 전승을 한 것도 상당히 기분 좋고 또 최성훈 선수 영입건도 아주 팀에 입단한 뒤로 팀 분위기가 한층 더 밝아지고 좋은 성적들도 나올 느낌이 막 생겨요. 그래가지고
좋은 기분, 네, 좋은 징조인 것 같습니다. 지난주에 스타테일과 프라임팀의 경기를 분명히 보셨을 거라 생각이 돼요. 많은 사람들의 예상을 뒤엎고 프라임팀이 이겼단 말이에요. 그 경기 어떻게 보셨나요?
And all of our players are
팀원 모두와
really happy about
저와
it.
접전일 거라고 예상을
네네.
했어요. 근데 좀 큰 스코어 차로
큰 차이,
프라임팀이
네네,
이겨서 좀 생각보다 세다.
네, 만만치
무섭다.
않죠.
만만치 않다. 우리 연습 더 많이 해야겠다. 그런 생각을 갖고 선수들이 각각 연습을 많이 아주 잘했습니다.
네, 이번 경기 어떻게 보면 TSL 팀이 살짝
We're gonna
유리한
win
것
against
같다는
Prime today.
예상도 있는데요. 하지만 프라임팀, 강팀 IM도
And
꺾고
we'll let them
스타테일도
know that
꺾었단 말이죠.
TSL's a really great team.
프라임팀을 맞아서 어떻게 준비를 하셨는지 궁금합니다.
저희 연습 방법은 일단 비밀이고요.
네.
말할 수가 없고요.
알겠습니다. 네.
각 선수들이 자기 역할을 어떻게 해야 되는지 잘 알고 있기 때문에 거기 자기 역할에 충실히 한다면 오늘 다음 경기 우승컵을 향해서 마지막 경기를 할 수 있을 것
네.
같습니다.
자, 마지막으로 프라임팀의 박예식 감독에게 한마디
How we
해주시죠.
train is a secret, but
양팀 모두
everyone on
오늘
our team knows how to do their thing.
우승컵을 한 경기만 더 이기면 할 수가
And
있어요.
if we
그렇죠.
play how we practice, we'll be able to win and get to the finals.
결승전도 몇 경기가 나와 있겠지만 플레이오프 경기도 몇 경기가 좀 나왔으면 좋겠어가지고 양팀 모두 어디가 이기든 사람들이 정말 많이 찾아볼 수 있는 그런
네네.
몇 경기가 좀 나왔으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 마지막까지 멋진 경기 또 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 말씀 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
네. 자, 저는
We want
지금까지
to
오늘
see some games today that will always be remembered.
TSL 만나봤습니다.
And we'll want our fans to remember the great games played by TSL.
어떤 팀이 가져갈지 정말
Yeah, they just want to leave a good mark, I would say.
Yeah.
And I'd say they already have, you know, with what they've done so
Oh, yeah,
far
for sure.
in the GSTL. They were a team that no one really expected to do this well. They were kind of
Yeah.
small. I mean, even smaller than they. I mean, they were smaller before than they are now. But
Yeah.
back in the playoff, I mean, in the group stages, I guess you could say there were two groups, divisions.
The league play, I
The
don't know.
pool play,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, back before the playoffs,
Yeah.
whatever that is, that like big
Way
enigma.
back when
You know,
dinosaurs roamed the earth.
the first time I watched TSL play, I was like, I didn't vote for them on my liquid bet, and I was like, well, these guys are pretty good, but you know, then I was like, oh man, they've really built a team. They
Yeah.
built a team that's really close knit, more close knit than any other team, and it's so evident in their play and their practice. And you know, we discussed. I talked with some people before the match that knew the strategy, and just watch JYP is going to show some Warp Prism play, and whenever people tell me that, like before their matches, whatever they said they were going to do in the match never ends up happening. Obviously, we did see some Warp Prism play.
Happen a lot, yeah. but
And you know,
not
you can
this
tell
time.
that it's been extremely well rehearsed. He knew
Yeah.
exactly what he was going to do. That Warp Prism speed timing was not coincidental. Now, thinking about what Bumblebee could have done better, it's so hard to say. He made a Hydralisk then they never made use of because the Colossi
true.
were out
Yeah.
and there were so many Blink Stalkers and the creep spread wasn't perfect. Another thing he could have maybe done was made some Mutas, but there were so many Stalkers, you know, what's he going to do? He's actually defending harass of his own. He
Well,
can't use
also
the
kind of
Mutas.
the suspicious placement of the third base too that may have made things a little bit more difficult. But
Who's
it
Prime
gonna
gonna pick?
It is going to be, I think that's Anyang Prime.
Yeah, I think so,
I
too.
could be wrong, but I believe that's
Yep.
who it is. It is Anyang Prime.
Anyang Prime.
There he is. 1-2 games last week, played pretty impressively. See how he can do today. And, you know, you're mentioning earlier about the team cohesion. You know, the guys that, they really seem like a good team, not just a good group of individual players. There's 3 teams, I think, in the team league that fit that right now. Slayers, MVP, and TSL. When you look at these guys, when you talk to them, you can really tell they try to work as a group, you know?
Right.
And it pays off, except
Well,
for Slayers.
I would say that Prime is pretty close knit as well. The thing about Prime is that they have so many players on their roster.
Yeah, it's tough.
they're not as close knit. They just kind of have so many cards to play. And like Gerard was saying, you know, he had some hidden Zerg cards to play, and Anyang is one of those. He hasn't really been, you know, you can see he played in GSL Open Season 3 in the round of 64 and lost.
That's right.
You know, he doesn't have a lot of results, but this guy's been around forever, and he's always been a solid player that's kind of been in the background. And players like Onion are really the story of how Korean players train. Like, this guy has been training as hard as anyone else in Prime has, and for the spectators, nobody even knows who he is, kind of, you know? But he's been in the background. He's the reason why some players on Prime are as good as they are, because he helped them train, and it's good to see that he can be showcased here as one of Prime's trump cards, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to play against JYP.
Well, he did a great job last week, and wouldn't be at all surprised to see him do good against this week. In fact, he may have actually prepared to face JYP. I mean, JYP is enough of a name now that it would be worth preparing snipers
Oh, I'm
for
absolutely sure that he is prepared to fight JYP. I'm sure that Gerard had him planned exactly if Bumblebee doesn't win, I'm going to send him out.
Oh, absolutely.
The map is Antigua Shipyard as well, so I'm sure we've got a specific strategy planned. Let's find out which one it is. I am Wolf. With me is Doa. This is the GSTL semifinals.